Here is a very big question that was asked, and I'm going to try to tap into a lot of it, and try to understand if I can bring some insight. It's a lot to read. Did Jeshua materialize after his resurrection? Well, I've told stories many times about the fact that he did rematerialize, he did resurrect. And I did see him on a beach. But I've also told the stories of gurus who have done that in India, who have projected their consciousness and manifested their body around the consciousness. So I do believe and do remember that. A few say he never existed and is part of eons repeating myth. And then in parentheses, Jordan Maxwell. Did Jeshua reincarnate? I have no idea. I don't believe so. My gut feeling is there was no need. And in fact, it would have been detrimental because he had been risen up to such a standard, to such a elevated height in the minds of men. Reincarnating would just create a rebooting of the same story, whereas Jeshua going to the other side and letting man evolve is actually more in line with what he was teaching. That we are the ones who have to do the rise in our consciousness, and so I think it would be totally against what he taught for him to reincarnate. If there is only the eternal now with past, present, and future, how can there be free will if all is known? I'm glad you started this with if, right? Past, present, and future is time related, right? There is only one moment we live. There is only one moment we experience. And in this one moment, we develop what we're creating into our life. And is there an eternal now? Well, there's an eternal now in the fact that it is the only moment that we have thought, word, and deed that we can put into play. It's the only truly conscious moment, is the present moment. The past is just memories of present moments. And the future is just a place where we set goals for our present moments. But our present moments is here and now. This question that you're asking is not about the now. It's about destiny and free will. If all is known, who says does not really matter, if all is known, because that's somebody's belief, right? What was taught was you are the creator of your experience. And that comes through your free will. You are taught whatever you ask in God's name is granted. That's what you're taught. That means your free will is in play. As I said, your future is just a place where you set goals for your present moment. How many of you in your life have set a goal for the present moment and then changed your mind? So is the first goal just gone, or was it predestined that you would change your mind? If that's the case, there's no reason in living. But it's not the case. The case is, in my belief, that we are here to experience God through our creations. Over the course of time, you can create manifesting massive wealth, right? And what's that going to get you? It's going to get you an experience of massive wealth. But is it going to get you to God? No, because it's not focused on loving. It's focused on money. And what's the famous quote? The love of money is the root of all evil. Is the root of many evils, actually, is what the quote is. The love of money is the root of many evils. Right? It's not that money is bad, it's the love of it, right? The misfocus of it. The present moment misfocus, instead of being loving. You can be wealthy. You're welcome to be wealthy. But when wealth supersedes being loving to your fellow man, then you have gone astray, right? The concept here is of the eternal now. There is only now. Man created the linear time thing when they started saying, well, sun crosses the sky, let's call that a day, right? And from when it comes over the horizon to when it's right above my head, let's just call that high noon. And then they created increments of time down to seconds and milliseconds and so on and so forth. Those are all man's constructs. But the idea of the eternal now, meaning everything's happening at once and it's just the way it is, I don't buy that at all, because I think that we are here to create, and we can create anything at any time. And I think that our creation is based upon what we think, do, and say in our present moment. And what we can change our mind, and the thing that we were creating before will alter and become something else. But the people who become very good at living the life they want are the ones who don't change their mind until they hold the thing in their hand. And that's what's happening. Your life experiences are going to be your life experiences. And you have to take some credit in the fact that your life experiences are going to bring in the lessons that you're going to learn. And oftentimes those lessons, and I would say every time, those lessons are based upon belief. So let me move on. How can we have strength of belief that Jeshua had and was able to prove by demonstration? I have many people who contact me because they want the light show. They want the big, spiritual, look, I've manifested something out of thin air moment. They want the walking on water moment. They want the feeding thousands with fish moment. They want to have this physical manifestation that only Jesus could do. I don't remember those things. But I do remember other manifestations and things that happened. I remember him doing healing work. I even remember him doing healing work on animals. In fact, when asked about healing, the first memory that I had of Jeshua's healing work was Jeshua healing a little girl's broken heart when he healed the leg of a lamb because she was sad for the lamb. So he went and healed the lamb's leg to heal the little girl's broken heart. Now, how did he do that? See, I believe animals, especially little ones, are unconditionally loving. And being one with Source, they're closer to God. And we go in there and as a loving Source, especially someone like Jeshua, who is in contact with his Holy Spirit self at all times, he just resonated that loving energy to the lamb's leg. I know for a fact that I was doing a show one time, and the guy playing Robin Hood broke his finger, and it was in a weird direction and everything. And we went in and we put loving intention towards his finger, and his finger was healed because he took belief in it, and he knew it. He knew that it was healed. And we were like, okay, that's what happened. We just went on. You can manifest healing in any aspect. And when you look at Jeshua's big demonstration of healing that lamb to heal her heart or her sadness, that's a beautiful moment. But when you look at the light show and the big things, you have to realize and I just did a video on this the other day, it's not about the light show. It's the subtle things. Give yourself permission when you are manifesting something into your life. Give yourself permission to not know how. And then look back after you get it and marvel at the miraculous things that had to happen for you to get it. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at what happened. There are a lot of stories I could tell about my dental work and all kinds of things that I manifested into my experience. I put a prayer of intention out, and then something would happen that seemed to be completely contrary to what I wanted. But that thing ended up taking me to the outcome that I was manifesting. I don't have to know how. Doesn't I don't have to put on a giant light show. And the question is not about what Jeshua did or what the spiritual teachers of this world are doing. This whole question is based upon the person's lack of self-confidence. They don't believe without seeing somebody else do something magical for them to put their belief in them. The reality of it is Jeshua would never want you to put belief in him. He wants you to put belief in self. And that's why when I look at this, this Jeshua being able to prove by demonstration, you can prove by demonstration. I've proved by demonstration. I literally have helped people come to their faith about their healing. I've watched people step out of wheelchairs. I've watched people forget their canes behind. I've watched people get their hearing back. I've watched people have an abscessed tooth, swollen face. In 10 minutes, it was no longer swollen. I've watched that happen. But it was never about the mystical, magical thing that I was doing. I was just there in positive, loving, healing intention. But it was when that person took faith in the healing that they healed themselves. I was just there to amplify their intention and my intention. And oftentimes, I would use my own wording to help them realize their belief. And once I would get them to realize their belief, they were healed. And that's the key. The big giant light show doesn't happen. It's miraculous in regard to. I mean, there were two other people, with the lady with the swollen face. There were two people who saw that other than me and the person, and one of them was my good friend Holly Matson, and it really did physically happen. This woman walked in with her face swollen, closing around her eye even. It was all up in here. Whole face swollen. Teeth were sticking out of the mouth because it was swollen inside of her mouth. And 10 minutes later, it was all down. It's all perfectly down. But that was the experience, right? That was the light show. But really, the biggest and most important thing that happened in the room with that woman was she took her faith. She took belief in the healing. Once she took her belief, God creates what you believe, what you put out in belief. I know this. And that's something else. Somebody, one of the comments the other day said that she didn't believe in this because she believed the word belief has doubt in it. Well, I don't believe that. I think belief is just if I believe something, I just know it. Just what it is. And, it's a semantic argument, but for me, if I believe something, I just know it. There's no doubt in that conversation. The idea is I believe it. This is my truth. So that is my belief. And that's what she took that day. I believe I'm healed. And she walked out and she said, I'm healed. I'm healed. She was so excited. She was jumping around. It was really amazing to watch. She was, just overjoyed. And there's a long story about how she came to that room. And I probably told it in another video, but amazing. So let's go on with the rest of this question. Is it just being good enough to oppose selfishness or fear? Selfishness/fear is what this question, and I don't really fully understand the question. So I'm going to read it, go back to the whole thing. How can we have strength of belief that Jeshua had and was able to prove by demonstration? Is just being good enough to oppose selfishness or fear? Is just being good? I would say just be loving. Just be loving. Because there is no fear in love, as John the Apostle said. Perfect love wipes out fear, right? Selfishness, that's a different thing from fear. That's narcissism. But there is fear in it. Selfishness is fearful, right? But the idea of selfishness and fear as two sides of a coin and of the same coin, basically. And selfishness comes from, a lot of times from narcissism. We believe we're great. Or it comes from protecting themselves, right? The interesting thing is narcissists usually are protecting themselves in some form. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm going to control this situation because, I don't feel right when I'm out of control. I don't feel, in control, nothing fearful can happen to me. So that's where that comes into play. Just be loving. And I mean that wholeheartedly when I say that. Just be loving. Don't look for a light show. Just be loving. Because if you're just loving and you do things with loving intention, the light show will happen. And 9 times out of 10, you'll see the light show in the rearview mirror. Where are the spiritual masters now, and why don't make themselves known to the masses? Because it's not time for the spiritual masters, quote unquote. Spiritual masters are here, and the spiritual masters are amongst you already. Spiritual masters are you, and it's the people who are choosing to believe and listen to their heart, follow their feeling, that are mastering spirituality. Now, what is mastering? To master something, when I'm mastering something, it's a misnomer, because to master something means you understand it all. You are the teacher. You are the one who has all knowledge. But a lot of people will master something and come up to a certain level and will not expand or grow past that level because they think they've learned it all. But the actual form will continue to grow and morph and move, right? To give you an example, I am a nunchuck practitioner. There have been people who have referred to me as a master nunchuck practitioner. I do all the Bruce Lee swinging stuff, right? And people have referred to me as a master. I said, nope. I don't believe anybody's a master, because I can learn everything I can learn with nunchucks. And then somebody can come up behind me and learn everything I know, and then move forward with experimentation and improvisation and create a whole new thing. So when I go practice my nunchucks out back, I try new things every day that have never been done. I do wraps around my neck, slides down my arm. I hook with my feet. I do all kinds of cool things with nunchucks. And none of that would have happened if I didn't continue my growth. Right now the spiritual masters are you. And the one thing you'll find very quickly is that in the fastest way to, quote unquote, mastering spirituality is to start releasing beliefs, start releasing these need for some outer hero to come save you. Start releasing the fact that you are not as powerful as Jesus, because he said you were. He said, you are greater works than I have done, you will do. Greater is the interesting point there, which means you've surpassed the mastership of him because you've done greater works. So you have to really dive into that, because this whole question is based upon your belief, not upon the beliefs of me or anybody else. These are your chosen beliefs. You've chosen to believe these things, and they're based in lack and separation, and you need to look at that. Was Jeshua aware of other life, alien forms, and did it affect his outlook? Now, I've done a video on aliens before, and I have no memory of Jeshua ever talking about it, but I don't understand why anybody would doubt that there is alien life. I think it'd be almost ridiculous to look at all that up there. You look up there at the sky and you see stars, and for every place you look, there's millions of stars that you can't see that are right there too. They're just out of your view. It'd be ridiculous to think we're the only ones. It'd be odd to think we're the only ones. And in fact, it would be childlike to believe we're the only ones. But does that mean in any way, shape, or form that changes Jeshua's belief? No. those people are manifesting as well. Those other creatures are manifesting their life as well, in my belief. We're not limited by the confines of our atmosphere. We are part of everything. And I'm going to save this end of this for another video, because it's a bigger topic that I want to dive into. So this was a very long video and a very long topic, or topics, answering this one person's questions. But I wanted to answer them all at once, because as I said, as you go through this is all about feeling separate and feeling out of control and feeling like you need someone to follow. Well, it's not about following. It's about leading. You want to lead in your own life. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.